For more now, we're going to bring in political analyst Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast just to give us a feel as well as a sense of what he took away from that January 8 statement. Prof, thank you so much for your time and welcome to SA Today. So did this year's statement actually reflect the current nucleus of the ANC party, including its current challenges, and also found a way to map a way forward, also setting a tone as they navigate this important year of local government elections? Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me, Alicia, and the compliments of the season. I think we're talking for the first time this year, and may everything go well with you. I don't want to say that the speech was amazing or wonderful. Suffice to say it was interesting, though, because it was revolving around the framing of constitutionalism. He kicked off with constitutionalism, because one of the main line of arguments was that transformation comes from the preamble of the Constitution. And I think what he was implying is that you cannot support constitutionalism on the one hand, on the other hand, you shoot down transformation, which is a very interesting discourse, and that we need to have a historical appreciation if we want to talk about contemporary specificities, and then linked that discourse to the framing of foreign policy, that the lifeblood of our foreign policy is the culture of human rights, and then examined what is happening between the US and Venezuela and other issues that are happening on a global scale, and then narrowed down his focus into issues of local government. There was a great deal of emphasis about local government and the failures of the ANC and the role of local authorities in terms of small, micro, medium enterprises, local economic development strategies, and so on, and issues of water security, gender-based violence, and the list is endless. But on a lighter note, or maybe on a serious note, there was a lot of also repetition, though I have mixed feelings, because maybe he was basically trying to reinforce some of those issues, but I think he was repeating the same thing at some point over and over again. But I think on the whole, he struck the right chords. But again, I think the proof of the pudding is in the eating, in terms of now the operationalization of those things. I think people are more interested into that.
Very interesting reviews there, Professor, because I'm also looking at, I've got a copy of the President's statement, the January 8 statement. It's about 36 pages. And you're very right. There's quite a lot of repetition as compared to the previous January 8 statements, to a point where they've actually said these are some of the priorities, as well as report backs on some of their undertakings for the specific year of 2025 and how actually they fared in regards to that. I mean, what I found interesting, Prof, is that the ANC national spokesperson, Moruleng Stadium, yesterday said that the party's focus is not so much on talk, but rather on service delivery interventions again. We've spoken, you and I, at great lengths as well about the party's renewal strategy that seemingly didn't lead to the anticipated results. So what can the party celebrate then this year, you think?
Look, I mean, the ANC has a rich history. It is a liberation movement. But the problem is that it tends to overplay that history and tends to think that because of that, people are going to vote for it on a large scale without having this appreciation that there's a strong connection now between service delivery and voter turnout. And you know as well as I do that a lot of young people on the continent are becoming impatient with older people who are falling short of getting the job done. The fact of the matter is the majority of eligible voters are young people. Therefore, the ANC needs to move with the times The president also spoke about issues of youth development and so on, but sometimes it's all talk and no action. But because this is going to be also a very interesting year for the ANC. Why? Because the question is, the question is the ANC going to have an upward electoral trajectory or a downward electoral trend? It cannot have in between. And that will determine the future of the ANC.
Okay. And Prof, maybe a very quick one in closing then. What should the party's focus be as they prepare for the upcoming polls and beyond? I mean, we have a serious economic crisis. Yeah. I know you spoke about it earlier on. We have a tariff. We have a standoff with the United States when we refer to the foreign policy. We have just confirmed the new ambassador for South Africa, who comes with a strict agenda on pushing for U.S. interests. I mean, we still have also, as you've just made reference to, a growing unemployment crisis, specifically among the young people. Crime is completely out of hand. Corruption reigns supreme. How does the party then effectively, at the helm of governance, actually juxtapose this with demoralized and angry citizens? You have a recipe for disaster then. What is your advice to them going forward?
I think in bridging those gaps, the ANC will have to improve how it renders services at the helm of power. That is especially at local government level. I don't know, because time is against them, but something must give. If they want people to vote for them on a large scale, they're not going to make people to vote for them because they say all the nice things in theory, but in practice they do the exact opposite.
All right, Prof, thank you so much, of course, for that sound analysis. That was Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast there. He's a political analyst, also weighing in just on the recently concluded January 8th statement, or what we call it, the 114th birthday celebrations of the ANC party.